met shows probably a little over 6 years ago at the Rustic Barn at their open mic. And at the time, I had a friend that I played music with who passed away. And then shows kind of became a buddy of mine. And I remember when I first met shows, and I was talking to my friend Jim, and I tried to describe him to him. I said, yeah, he's a big guy, kind of looks like a deadhead kind of guy, like a big bear or something. I said, but you know, I said, I know there's something, shows is like an interesting character, I said, because he's got to be a tough guy, down deep, as peaceful as he seems. And I said, because anybody, does people know the character Pippi Longstocking?
Yeah.
Okay. So I said, anybody, any man that can rock Pippi Longstocking ponytails in his hairdo. I said, I know that guy's a tough guy. I wouldn't want to mess with him under any circumstances. And sure enough, it was all the truth. In reading the book, or I actually, shows sent me the first few, or the book in PDF form before it was read by most other people or edited or anything like that. It takes me so long to read. I just reread. So I said, shows, I hate to tell you, but I'm gonna wait for the audiobook to come out.
That's what I said.
He did get, yeah, Mike, when you were telling that story, that's exactly how I was. So anyway, then it came out, and I listened to the book, and I loved the audiobook version. Shows had asked me, after hearing me play that song, one time if he, if I would be willing to have it be in the book. I said, oh man, I'd be honored. So that's how that came about. And so in listening to the audiobook and whatnot, a couple things struck me that I knew about shows, but like were just reinforced. Mike touched on this too. Shows organization. Shows always has whatever you need. If we were playing out and someone needed an adapter to go from a 1/4 inch to an 1/8 inch, gazinta to a gazouta, Shows has got one in his thing. Down in his basement, you need an extra cable. He's got like cables hanging from the ceiling. I don't know how he does it, but whatever is needed, Shows can pull it out of his magic bag of tricks somehow, some way. And reading the book, a lot of the book is inventories.
Oh yeah.
Shows
Pages of
Shows was very meticulous about what he's got, what it looks like, what color it is, and that kind of, when I understand that later in life, Shows became a project manager. That's what he did. He managed big construction projects. And I said, it all ties in, his meticulous detail and whatnot, and planning for, for exigencies and whatnot. It's just like, exactly what I kind of, knew about him was just reinforced in the book. One other thing I thought that was kind of funny to me, that you don't see in movies of books, or movies, it seems. I don't know if they're in the books, but Show's book is the first time I've ever been struck by the importance of bathroom functions to the operation of a military operation. In detail about the chafing and the cleaning and not leaving things behind and whatnot. So it was just, it was great to listen to the book, and great that Shows asked me to take part in it. And I agree with him regarding, issues related to child abuse and whatnot, obviously. So I'm very glad to have been a part. Thank you very much.
Any questions for John?
I'm just gonna say she basically threw the book and, how's Robin gonna deal with this? What if she hasn't read it? What's wrong with her? Why hasn't she read this yet? I go, because she doesn't know about it.
Yeah, like literally.
How did you deal with the book, Robin, when you read all of it?
Well, I just finished the book about a month ago,
Right?
and I guess what I say to people is that it is faction, and I don't know which parts are fact and which parts are fiction. But I think for me, it really made some connections for me and shows personality. Things that, to me, so the way I always describe it is that, you know, I thought that I married this little peaceful deadhead. And I did, but then in our time together, which of course, as many of you of course know, was 30 years this year, which is pretty amazing. I've been with my husband actually more than half of my life because we met when I was 29 and I'm now 62. So I actually have spent more than half of my life with him and most of my adult life. For me, it really put things together, and I saw the truth in it of who Shows is. Like, I really saw Show's personality woven through the story, and it made things click for me. And I didn't, you know, again, I don't need to know if A is exact truth or B is exact truth, because I understand how things can be embellished. I often think about it, Kristen uses, we're realtors, and legally within real estate advertising, you can do this thing that's called puffing, which means you kind of exaggerate. You're not lying, but you know, I'm the best. Which of course I know. But you know what I mean? So there's always this thing of when you tell something, there's that little variation of how the story is told. So I was able to accept that. But also knowing the time in which it was written in a finalizing process, which I only know in retrospect, but again, I know what he was doing for the last 30 years. Working a lot and with other things where you don't have time. There wasn't time to make this up, and he's not quite that creative. So there would have been a lot of creativity to weave that story. So again, that's way more than I had anticipated saying, but that's just how I processed it. And you know, Dina, before I read it, remember going down into my basement, they were there playing music one night. I said, no, I haven't read it yet. She's like, well, I really want to talk to you when you're done, because it's pretty quiet. My friend Bobby and her husband, I was heading to Aruba at the beginning of this year, and I was taking it with me. For one, because I wanted to leave it in the lending library there. I thought, what a great way to get international exposure for the book.
Yeah.
The place I stayed didn't have a decent lending library to make worth leaving it there. But they also were like, you don't want to read that on vacation. It's really violent. And so, you know, I had those warnings, you know, of it being that way, so I had some preparation, but I think it's pretty amazing. The style of writing blew me away, and everybody who knows me well, and I always say this and we all laugh, you know I'm gonna give you my opinion, because I never hold back my opinion anywhere. I wish I could, sometimes it's just not who I am. And I think it's wonderful, and I think the audiobook is frigging amazing, and I listen to audiobooks every day. It's what I do. I drive a lot. It's real, you know, so I was so honored, honey. I'm so impressed. I think it rocks.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear John's song?
Yeah, we're gonna cue up John's song here, but I want to touch on a point John made, that actually many of you have said about details and the mundane parts of life, going to the bathroom, your clothes. That wasn't an accident. That was really thought out, because when you're in that situation, that's your entire life. What am I gonna eat? Going to the bathroom is like an incredibly important part of just your moment-to-moment existence, and not getting rashes, and you almost can't avoid it, and that happened. And a lot of things are boredom. You know, you're just hiking and you're sort of paying attention, but we had a system where everybody behind the leading group didn't have to think that much. You know, we would have flushed out snipers or guards. We set the path for them. All you gotta do is look for these little tags on the trees. And so what was going on in our minds minds during all that is just boredom. You know, you're not under threat necessarily. You gotta be alert, but you're not thinking that any moment somebody in a tree is gonna shoot me, because that would have already happened to 2 or 3 guys that were in the lead. So it's, the details are important, not to so much present the story, although that's part of it, but to give you an insight of really what's going on in, I guess I can say, a soldier's mind. I can't say I'm that different. And that's what people are thinking about. Where do I go to the bathroom, and what am I gonna eat? How am I gonna sleep tonight? And am I gonna get killed in a second? That's all that's on your mind. You're not thinking about home, the mortgage, your kids. I didn't have kids at the time, or even a girlfriend, so that part I didn't even have to think about. But that's why there's that type of detail in the book, because that's what you're thinking about. And I feel I brought that out. And by a whole lot of the questions, I think I was successful at that. And those are great questions at a poignant moment there, John. All right, so this is the song itself. I do have the part where it overlaps me talking about the last few sentences of the book. So that's what's going on. This is the end of me reading the book, the last, I'm not sure, 3 or 4 sentences. And then you'll hear the music come in, I back out, and then it's all John at that point.
I continue my recon on this song. If all goes well, tonight I will do my job. I check my Timex. It's 10:10 hours. My mind waffles to, no, it's 10 after 10 in the morning. Fuck it. I place the sun's location. I know which way it will move as it plods west. Feeling as if Tika, the girl who never cries, is looking over me, I know this mission is true and proper. I will not fail. The end of the beginning of the rest of my life. Hiya.
If we could only find a place to hide out, just until the morning, just until sunrise. Maybe then tomorrow things will all be different. Things will all be better in the new day's life. If we could only find a place to run to, a place where there's no anger, no fear, and there's no pain. Maybe then tomorrow things would all be different. Things would all be better in the light of day. Make it go away, the monster that hides in the shadows. Make it go away, the evil that lurks outside the door. Make it go away, the punishment by the protector. Make it go away, I don't think we can take it anymore. If we could only find a sanctuary, a refuge from the madness of a world that's born insane. I pray that we may find one it go away.
Epilogue.
That's an amazing piece of work, Joe. Thank you. I'm so glad I heard you sing it that one time. Hey, let's have a little bit of eating. I'm happy to talk to anybody, ask any questions you want. Joe's gonna give a little, talk about the audiobook after we're done eating, just to break it up. Thank you all so far, appreciate it.